how do you fix broken prints, or how do you put two pieces together? This is an Iron Man mask that I printed, and you know, it's broken. I dropped it by accident while trying to put it on, and now I have a split down the layer line. So how can you fix that? I'm going to show you now. Now there's 3 different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you just 2. For this one, you're going to need a soldering iron if you have one, and just leftover filament of the same kind. If it's PLA, you want to work with PLA. I have the same color just so that when I do fix it, it doesn't stand out too much. If you've ever soldered before, it's pretty much going to be the same thing, but we're going to be soldering with 3D printed material. So you can see the crack here. I just cut off a little piece of the main roll, and we're just going to heat it up and place it right at the seams. Just going to grab my soldering iron. Of course, my extension cord doesn't come all the way, and I would recommend you don't do this in a bedroom. You want this outside or with a ventilated area. That is not good stuff to be breathing in, or to have go through your eyes. Now you definitely don't need any scrap material, but I like to do it just so that it's an additive instead of disintegrating what I already printed, just in case I melt it over a little bit. I'm just going around, and actually I would suggest to tape where you want it to be. I don't really care about how well I'm doing this one, so I'm just eyeballing it. But it'd be better to tape it down or to glue it down and then fuse after, and that's getting into my nose. It's nasty stuff. You want to wait for it to cool down and dry. You can kind of touch it to see if it's cooled or not. Then on the other side, you can just do the same thing, but I think I'm actually just going to use the soldering iron and just go straight through with it, just because it's on the inside and no one's really going to see this part. Now you could probably definitely do a better job than I did here. It's very splotchy, very blobbly. And that should be how it goes. It's all dry now. It's still a little bit warm, but it's ready. I'm going to show you the other way you can do it, which is just with hot glue. Now, if you don't have a soldering iron and you just got hot glue gun, let's try this. I actually don't use it on any of my prints, but I know some people do, so we can try it out. You know what, I should have said that you should clean off the edges before you try to solder it together, or if you try to hot glue it together. Another one is super glue, which bonds instantly to skin, but the reason I don't like to use glues are because they take a while to dry. Now, if you want more time to place the object on, then I would say, yeah, go with the hot glue gun. It's easy. You can find it anywhere versus a soldering iron, you know. And it's much hotter, much more dangerous, and it leaves off those nasty fumes that you don't want to be breathing in or beginning to irritate your eyes. So while this is drying, oh, that's still, yep, that's still going. Well, which is better, the soldering iron or the hot glue gun? So actually, let's see. Here's what I would do. I'll take some blue filament, cut it in half. I'm going to cut it in half again. We'll do that. We'll solder these two together and then hot glue these two together and do a strength pull test, like a tensile strength test, and see which one holds better. And I think this is going pretty good. Let's see if the hot glue. Yeah, comes off there. This one was still a little bit drying, but I will also say I didn't clean off it made this cleaner, but I didn't clean off these edges. So maybe it would have held better, But for this, if it was going through any real stress or pressure, I wouldn't use the hot glue gun. But for the real test, let's just melt these two together. All right, the hot glue gun one is drying, but for example of what else you can use the soldering iron for is putting pieces together or locking pieces in. Now, this is a butterfly knife, and I don't have a multicolor printer. What actually happened is that I ran out of the black filament and then just started printing on the blue one. So, you know, and it worked out pretty nice. And then the knife was printed with a different color. But what I did here in the hinges, it came with 3D printed hinges, but once you started really playing with it, they broke. So what I had to do was I had to find a substitute. For this, I actually took a pencil, jammed it in there, broke off the end, so then the graphite tip was still in there, and then I just sealed it off with filament and the soldering iron. I did a bad job on this one, but it's very smooth, and that graphite acts as like a natural lubricant. So now you can do all the tricks if I was really good at it. If I was really good, I could just be doing all the stuff, but it feels nice. It has weight to it. You know, the graphite is really nice, actually. All right, now, time for the moment of truth. This is the hot glue. It's definitely dried now. This is the soldering. It might last a little bit longer just because the surface area of this one. But let's see, let's pull it. Let's pull the hot glue gun one first. I don't have high hopes for this. Yeah, that just came right off. How about for this one? Ooh, that was more of a snap, but that still came off, so. But I do think the soldering iron one would have lasted a little bit longer if I was just better at, you know, let's let it focus. Let's see if it focuses. There we go. If I was just better at getting a really good seal on there, really good weld, but I'm not a welder, so.